Creative Museum is happy to present its exhibition on American rhinestone combs.
During the second half of the 19th century, the austere image of Queen Victoria strongly influenced the whole of British society, including in America, where the dress code was inspired by European fashion. After the death of Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, the colour black dominated. Propriety dictated that women's hair be long but kept up in a chignon. The Victorian hair comb dominated at that time. It was generally carved out of tortoiseshell, modest in size, about 5 inches, with scrolls as its only fancy decoration. It could also have floral motifs, but it was far from being a conspicuous accessory. For elegant parties, well-educated women appreciated the discreet shine of a sterling silver comb. After Queen Victoria's death, in January 1901, society began to open up and to be more careless and frivolous. This is noticeable in hairstyles as well as in clothing. In the US, only high-class women could afford expensive hair accessories that they bought at their jewellers. Most ordinary women started to look for a more fanciful style of clothing in general. The 20th century had started to make its mark. The middle class had appeared, and the comb market had to respond to its demands. The first plastic, registered as celluloid in 1873, started to replace natural materials and helped make the ornamental comb popular. Its structure allowed it to be dyed in a wide range of colours and aspects and to be moulded into many and various designs. Engineers competed to find all the possible chemical combinations. At the beginning, it was supposed to imitate natural materials such as tortoiseshell or horn, as well as ivory. But designers quickly considered it as interesting in its own right. Its role as a copy was soon forgotten. The only place where combs were mass-produced was in the town of Leominster, Massachusetts, the center for plastic fabrication in the US. American women now took on a more clearly feminine look. At the same time, through the suffragette movement, they won the right to vote, and the celluloid comb thus appeared as a symbol of their emancipation. So, in order to satisfy women's demands, comb makers increased comb sizes and produced a significantly greater variety of shapes. This was relatively easy, as celluloid was so easy to mould. To provide a real economic alternative to traditional jewellery, it was also necessary to be able to imitate precious stones. Going to the opera was the moment to show them off. So, comb makers turned to crystal. When glass is cut like a precious stone and dyed with metallic oxides, it can easily be mistaken for amethysts, emeralds, rubies, and even diamonds. It is generally called rhinestone or paste stone, or strass in French, named after George Strass, the French jeweller who perfected this process in the 18th century. All these elements combined to make the American comb both lovely to look at and affordable. Studded with rhinestones and dazzling to see, this kind of comb remained at the forefront of fashion for more than 20 years. Gracefully proportioned, fanciful, colourful, and charming, its shapes and designs were incredibly varied. The most popular shape was the open fan. It could be elegant and refined, with discreet touches of blue, or more attractive still, perfect for those social events where one just had to be seen. The comb thus became an essential for any hairstyle. It really deserved to be called a jewel, since it had the same ability to catch the light and people's attention. Its beauty could even evoke the stained glass windows of a Gothic cathedral. The introduction of gold flecks into the celluloid was an alternative to rhinestones and had a similarly dazzling effect. They are particularly appreciable on a simple design, or when a purely Art Deco style cannot accommodate stones. The purpose of the high-backed comb is mainly for visual effect. Its position in the hair is primordial. Its beauty reveals the taste and daring of the wearer. At that intermediate period between traditional values and the modern era, hair was kept long, but worn in a bun, low down against the head. This was a precursor of the shorter styles to follow. Very occasionally, the teeth of the comb were hinged to extend backwards and turn the comb into a diadem. It could also be worn to frame a chignon or a cluster of curls. Combs could be worn in any manner on a wide variety of hairstyles, and some ladies exhibited much individuality in wearing them. Their ornamental qualities were what mattered, like, for example, their ability to catch the light. Celluloid combs, being cheaper than traditional jewellery, permitted every woman to own several hair adornments. This rather gaudy comb could have been quite effective for an evening event, and this one with pastel colours and a more delicate design might have been more suitable for day wear. The best way to show off a comb was in the Spanish style, wearing it overhanging on one side. As seen here, with this pink watered effect, the designer's imagination drew on the artistic possibilities of the celluloid texture. Another watermarked model, over clear celluloid in a blue version. When clear glass sets are extremely close together, the surface seems to be paved with diamonds, whatever angle it's seen from. And like this bright green alternating with blue, a combination which greatly enhances the black frame. Once perms became the rage, a decorative comb highlighted the tight curly hairstyle. A transparent pattern like this red Greek key would have been ideal for that purpose. Or a romantic and discreet coronet. Or better still, a lacy design with graceful blue curves that lend the comb a magical aura. This whimsical pharaoh in an Egyptian motif, which was very fashionable at the time, was a sure way of catching the eye. During the 1920s, the actress Paulette Duval enjoyed wearing 2 combs at a time in her hair. These combs were not necessarily the same, but would be of similar shape and colour. For example, this imitation tortoiseshell comb, embellished with red rhinestones, could have been worn alongside this one, underlined with black rhinestones. This framework, with soft curves enhanced by blue stones, with contrasting sharp angles, could have echoed a harlequin hat-shaped comb. Vivid colours and pearly textures were appreciated because they caught the light well without needing to have inlaid stones. Another beautiful blue version with hints of turquoise. When rhinestones are present, they are nearly always set on the same coloured surface, which intensifies their tone. The use of clear celluloid was appreciated because it highlighted the design of the comb rather than its teeth. Fashion pictures of that time always showed a chic woman with a comb lavishly enhanced with rhinestones. This now essential accessory sometimes consisted of incredibly complex decorations. The close-up shows all the details: black painted flowers accentuated by black stones stand out against the orange and yellow shades behind. As we just saw with the black flowers, natural forms became stylized, as with these splendidly intricate purple leaves. Magical, fairy-like, exquisite, these are the best ways to describe this piece. Much rarer, here is a scene representing Aesop's fable about the crow and the fox. This piece reunites all the decorative styles seen so far: clear celluloid, multicoloured stones set on painted surfaces, and a gold-coloured frame to maximise the decorative effects. When a period of mourning came about, the use of bright colours was significantly toned down. Only the use of smooth and shiny French jet was acceptable. For women who kept up their social contacts, their combs continued to be elegant and fashionable, like with this remarkable trompe-l'œil Art Deco example. Here, turquoise blue stones enlighten a dark-coloured background and enhance a most original design. These green stones do the same, but for a more traditional design. Depending on the circumstances, coloured removable flowers could be clipped on to enhance a more sober design. This butterfly, encrusted on a square frame and embellished with red rhinestones, has a very feminine aura about it. Actresses at that time knew that hair combs were an enhancement and a significant accessory to their looks. Even though celluloid and rhinestones were not particularly prestigious materials, the care that comb makers took in their manufacture of them was equivalent to that of jewellers. They worked together with talented and up-and-coming designers who were using the latest technical innovations and who were involved with new patterns, new motifs and colours. The item had to be affordable for the average person, but the design was never sacrificed in order to render it more suitable for mass production. The finish is perfect, and the colours, as well as the rhinestones, remain shiny despite their age. Who would know that these dazzling plastic accessories are a century old? They could easily be worn today at a sophisticated party. All these flamboyant combs developed until between 1925 and 1930, and were at the peak of their popularity in about 1915. Nowadays they are scarce and quite valuable, Collectors consider them as evidence of a period when splendour and ostentation were the hallmark of any hair ornament. Their dominance at this time reflects the technological progress that was the mark of the American dream of social mobility. An item was bought and changed according to the latest whims and fashions. The evolution of one style of hair comb into another shows us that the stiff look that typified Victorian women was over, and Hollywood glamour had arrived. But fashions move so quickly. On a fateful day in 1921, Irene Castle, an internationally famous ballroom dancer, decided to bob her hair. This signed the death warrant for celluloid combs and all the factories which had flourished with them. After her came Louise Brooks, the movie star, as well as many others. As a result of this new fashion, the glitter of these stunning hair ornaments vanished. That is why those examples which survive today are so precious. Their dazzle is still so vivid.